Yeah, up there, it's a try. Absolutely. Yeah, they were in LA in July. So I was here. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, everything. Well, I'm putting it in a sense.
All right.
Yeah.
So I have a problem. I worked really hard to ensure that their screen would show.
Like,
And now it's not. And oh, there it is.
Just drag it over, Kim.
I got it.
There you
got it. Oh, whoa, hey Larry.
Steve.
Hey. All right, welcome everybody. Calling the meeting to order at 3:02. Welcome. I do feel a little glowy. I have 3 left after this. Not that I haven't loved every minute. All right, before the approval of agenda, I'm just noting that, Maria had a reason to be late today. She'll be coming via Zoom for the item by 4:15, and if she can't come, a dean will sub for her. Right? So just so we note that before we approve the agenda. So may I have a motion to approve?
Move to approve.
Chris? And a second from Danielle. Thank you so much. As usual, we don't have items, well, not as usual, we don't have items out of order, but as usual, I asked the group to help us kind of watch our time. We're trying to get up to our third, so I've got Margaret's up here to make sure that all our attachments are there. Forgive me, guys. The item taken out of order, I just like to remind folks that we kind of watch the time. So we're trying to get to the productivity efforts and good scheduling practices discussion around 4:30. I said 4:15, but it's around 4:30. Of course, if it's earlier, great. But I'd like to have the group help me with that. Do we have any public comment? I didn't hear anything. Anybody else? No. Yeah, all right. And then approval of minutes. So we have the minutes for 2/28. Do I have a motion to approve? Yay, Danielle, and a second. Thank you. Rosabeth seconded. Are there any corrections, emendations? Anybody want to? Yeah.
Sorry, I have a very minor correction, and I just got the date wrong on my liaison report. I said February 20th, 2023, and I meant 24. But I changed it on
Okay, I think
on the
it's
current.
kind of beautiful that you noticed that. I may or may not get it in there. I wrote it down, but I love you for that. Okay, thank you. Any other corrections, emendations? Anybody want to abstain from the minute? Or vote? Okay, minutes passed and thank you. And I will just once again thank my noble volunteers. Stephanie and Jamie Campbell were my main help on this. And then of course, all mistakes are mine. And I really appreciate the different voices and takes on it. And it does give me pleasure as I wade through them. So Stephanie, as a inveterate note taker, will continue. Does anybody else know they're going to take a lot of minutes? I do like to get the second voice just in case. Are you okay doing it again, Christy? Okay. So between the two of you, we will be beyond gold. Thank you. Okay. So my president's report is short. And I do want, Maria writes these amazing reports. It takes a long time and my life just doesn't have that time right now. So I am doing oral, details, and in the ideal world, I would write them out, but this is the real world. So I just wanted to take a moment to celebrate having Senator Cisneros here in the BC Forum. It was incredible. Yeah, woohoo. A couple ESL classes came. It was beautiful to see all of our bilingual faculty and staff. And anyway, I got to watch on the live stream, which I wanted to go in person. So that was also a wonderful gift. There were a lot of us on there too. So I was pretty proud of our college and our VPAA who gave her bilingual address. And this is really beautiful thing. We are having problems with Tableau data. And Dr. Keller Maginot did thank faculty who are emailing.
Can I add something to the Senator Cisneros real quick?
Yes, thank you.
We were a full house, so the BC Forum was full. And I think in the YouTube video view, there's I think up to 800.
Now, I heard that number. I was on it and I thought it was up to 300.
Oh, okay.
So I don't know, maybe the 800, and
Even if it was.
I know it was at least 3.
It was, even if it's 300, we're then maybe about anywhere from 500 to, it was 800 to 1,000, but minimum 500 is not bad.
Not at all.
Yeah.
Great.
It was so wonderful. Yes, thank you.
Anyway, I just wanted to add that real quick.
Beautiful, thank you, yes. So anyway, I got to talk to Keller today because she's gonna be coming to our 24th Senate meeting. So she's gonna bring and meet with me again to talk about what she wants to share about her office, and it's gonna be a chance to hear the kind of things we would like to hear from her. I did want to share some important details. I don't know if she's emailed back everybody. It's like a lot of emails, but she sent the form. She appreciates getting the information. And if there's larger questions, you can always try to go through me, like I can collect those, but she is working on it. There's a lot of pieces that aren't under her office's purview, so it takes a little while to sort all of this out. But people have been worried that we've reported the wrong numbers to the state for apportionment. And I actually got to meet with Dr. Endra Jonas yesterday. She said, no, that's done at the time and it's reported on a banner and it is fine. So we don't have that. That's a great question, but we do have the correct numbers of reported for census, not the withdraw date, which, in the fall happens, the 9th week. So that is good. Again, she will be attending our April 24th meeting, to meet us, see the kind of things that we're interested in. It is a big startup for her office, right? She came in January. So many of our processes have fallen by the wayside between COVID and turnover in every area. VPs, presidents, Senate people. I mean, it's been kind of amazing that we are where we are now, really, if you think about where we've been. So at any rate, she's working on it and eager to meet us, and that will be happening. I want to let you know, we had a great meeting on the academic calendar, and that will be coming through Senate and CBC and the board by spring. There is interest in reconsidering how we're doing summer. It's really, really complicated because of all the moving pieces, and people know that who've been on these committees over the years, from Monday holidays to, it's even not clear cut for students. I thought, it's better to have the 2 6-week. Well, for financial aid, it might not be. There's so many elements. So at any rate, the committee has agreed that we will start this fall looking in to summer, whatever the summer is, when you can actually make it.
25, 26?
No, 2025 is like already on the calendar starting.
Okay.
So and I have a feeling it's actually 27 realistically that we would be able to change. But this fall, we will look into changing summer. But so fall of 24, I'm not sure if, and again, this is my trouble with numbers. I can update that later. When the calendar comes through, we'll talk about this again. I just want you guys to know that it is amazingly hard to get all the pieces together. And so, but we're gonna try. Assuming the new president supports that, but I think steering can just have them do it. Yes.
I had a note from last week that SEM was dealing with the academic calendar. Is it SEM or is it CPC? Where did?
It's a work
decision
group
reside?
the work group out of SEM. To make
Okay.
sure there's full representation on that group. So it comes out of SEM, but then it's approved through all of our
Through
practices.
CPC.
Yeah. And us, of course, which is part of that. Whenever it's through CBC, it's also supposed to go through all the other groups. It's just sometimes they all happen kind of in the same month because of semesters ending. Yes.
You said summer 27 is the soonest it would be changed.
I said, I'm not sure. It's either 26 or 27 because I have a terrible memory for this stuff. And I wrote it down like 3 places, but I can't find it. I think it is a long time. Because, everything's affected. So once you change summer, it changes fall and spring. And I'll just tell you one more thing since I'm talking. The issue about, so the impact on financial aid and admissions and records over the winter break, that it comes up against the holiday. We would, if we change summer, we'd also have to start fall a week earlier. And that would be a big deal for many faculty who are really now used to like the August 24, 25, 26.
So nice.
Well, okay, so I'm just saying, there's a lot of moving pieces. And if we move spring up, then you'll get the Monday holiday back in, and then the science labs are really in trouble because there's 2 Monday holidays. So those are just some of the ones that come in. There's more, but we'll write it all down.
It's very kind.
Okay, there have been problems integrating Follett Discover with Canvas. So welcome to software. And there's some back and forth between our IT folks and Follett, and so it's close to being resolved. The email people got has a now dead link. So now it's a matter of getting the correct link. So thankfully Rob's involved because he's involved with all things with faculty and tech. So he is going to make sure Paul gets the new link and it gets out. But obviously the Friday deadline is not one that you have to worry about for summer. But hopefully the following week. So you will be posted on that. And once again, Grace, software stinks. Yes, Elizabeth.
Will there be like some sort of instructions or something along with this
Right.
link?
Well, all the instructions are already linked to one of our agendas, but I will remind them to send them again. So I put it in our Follett, it's linked to our Follett one from February 14th. So please know, your academic senate agenda is supposed to be your friend. That's supposed to be where I try to put everything related to something we've discussed. So I followed up and linked that there. It's like, will there be, who's doing it? Who's got the email list? I think, we need to work on that stuff, but it's weird. It's not just like automatic. Oh, here's what happens.
I also want to clarify too, when you go into a doc, there's a supplies tab. We are not supposed to use this tab.
That's
We are
correct.
supposed to email whatever that email address is, correct?
Supposed to email Melanie Oldwing, and it is again linked to the February no, I know.
I just want to make sure, because there's a supply tab, so, okay, don't use it.
Let's see if this works.
Cornelia has her hand up.
Can I ask a question while you are looking?
No, because I can't multitask and I don't want everybody to see my things. Just hold your question. 600, right?
And they can't close that.
Actually, I don't care. I don't have to edit it. So I will put that in, the point, yes.
Yeah.
It says that
Elizabeth is correct.
because
That,
past and I need to email someone.
you have to do it that other way.
That changed actually. When's the last time you put?
Today.
Oh, today.
I got here so early, everything.
Mine said that yesterday, but not today.
All right, are there any more follow-up questions before I move on? Yes, Cornelia.
Yes, thank you. And I appreciate that the instructions are linked to Senate agendas, and we will do our best to disseminate to them to the faculty. But my question would be, wouldn't it make sense to actually link the instructions to the link in Canvas? Because that's where every faculty who has a class will see the link.
I don't think we have to, my point was, it's tough to figure out who does this stuff. But yes, but let's not spend any more of our Senate time brainstorming about the problems right now. You're right, it's not working.
Can you suggest that?
Could you? I mean, just email Rob right now. Okay, awesome. So the last one is the budget forum. We are having an item 7.02 on our agenda today, but I wanted to share something that I managed to not know. And I have more of a chance to know than anyone else in this current role, and it made me very happy.
We didn't know something.
My syntax is not ideal, but obviously, but thanks for the comic relief. Where was I going?
You're telling us something regarding the budget.
Okay. So now that I'm derailed, I'm gonna take one more moment to share. That's all right. One of the joys of being Senate president is you get this chance to kind of try to absorb everything and understand, get your thoughts about what's working and what's not. And I am, as we try to reestablish both processes and sort of the trust and habits that allow for true participatory governance, one of the things I've realized is there's so much that the administrators take for granted when their communications, the same way there's so much that we do, in our classrooms and how we are as faculty, right? We have whole habits of thinking and seeing the world that we can forget about until our students ask us the 7th time, what do you mean by that? And like, oh, right, you haven't spent 20 years doing this. So so that disconnect. So thankfully, as we're getting ready for the plenary, FA Senate plenary on the 3rd, that is going to be about budget and scheduling. What's emerged, I was finally able to ask Erica the kind of questions I really needed to know the answers to, and it took a long time. And it's these different ways, these disconnects of the ways we've been saying things. So thing I wanted to share is she is planning to establish a budget committee, but starting in the fall. Why not this spring? Well, because there's just so much chaos and things falling, I didn't ask her why, and I said, great for fun. I'm not, that's me speculating. I think there's a lot of reasons why it hasn't happened, but it is planned for fall. And that'll be really great. So we'll have all the voices there and we'll be able to share out things. And I just also want to highlight after the forum, we're gonna talk about it more, but the anxiety and fear that I had, that big decisions were gonna be made quickly, they're not. We are gonna have time to hear, to talk in the fall. So that was a big relief to me. And the part was, it sort of shocked me it took that long for me to articulate the questions and get the answers, but that's how it works. And it's probably been evolving on their side too. Anyway, so that's really good news. And as we continue to work on our stuff, we'll be able to think more about the kind of information we want from the budget committee. Yes.
Will it be a reboot of BRAC or will it be envisioned?
I don't
totally
think so.
different?
I do not
Okay.
think a reboot of BRAC. BRAC was sort of
Okay.
emergency created after zero budgeting to kind of like, no. I think
Okay.
it's envisioned. I mean, again, that's why it isn't here yet. We've got to think about it. We're gonna get here from the PRT. We're learning what we need. So it will all be shared. So, but that's all I know. I was just really happy that it's on the plan. Okay. So Maria knew that nobody would, that we wouldn't actually talk about anything, but we'll just quickly. What? Okay, I think maybe I've got it as a PDF now. I don't know why I got signed out.
Looks like Maria's online.
Oh, wow, all right. Hello, Maria. We're still not gonna read this because I'm excited to save the time. So here it is. I talked longer because I thought she wouldn't be here to talk. Here's the calendar. Oh, this is cool. Maria, awesome. She linked her calendar, the timeline, so you can look at that if you want to see exactly when things are coming where. A master of spreadsheets and that planning. Okay, and then April, it's us, okay, Ed Vision. Priorities, so these have already evolved a little bit more, but it's very cool to be sharing these out. Stephanie and Dee and Josh and myself, we're the ones on this plan. So if you want to ask anything, you reach out to any of us. Brown bag, enrollments. A little bit down on dual enrollment will be captured, so. Okay. All right.
Okay, quick question on the first topic, the enrollment management strategies. It says the date, but it doesn't have the time.
Oh, yeah, it's all in our calendars now. I think it's like 12 or something.
Okay,
Maria, if you can hear us, do you know the time of that webinar or somebody could check?
Yes.
it? Okay.
Yes, thank you. And I'm on my way to the in-person meeting, and I just wanted to make sure that I joined as soon as possible after my doctor's appointment. And so, yes, the upcoming webinar is scheduled. I want to say it's the 21st. However, I did send out a calendar invite, and so you should see it there. If you still need me to send it again, I can. Just let me know.
Anybody look at their calendar? 12.
It's noon.
It's noon. Okay, thank you. Wonderful. Yes.
This question is for Maria, and just people have asked me, they want to know what's going on with non-credit, because it's always like, these are the numbers for credit,
Yeah.
non-credit's growing, but no one knows what that means.
Okay.
So I think just having that information would be really helpful, just so that people can see like the whole picture.
I'm gonna ask you bring that up again.
Okay,
We got a discussion item for it and then we'll get it in the right list,
okay.
but it's perfect. Yes. Okay. All right. Paloma let me know. She is at a conference and doesn't have a report. So our liaison reports. Okay, so this is gonna suck. I am gonna have to log in. So everybody,
Shut their eyes.
yeah, that's the easiest. Just close your eyes. I think don't look at the screen. Nobody look at the screen, but I think my password's gonna be, it'll be hidden anyway as long as.
Why do you have to do that? I wonder, because I didn't have to do that. I came right up.
I think I logged in too early today. I think that might be it.
Nobody saw you.
Nobody saw your password because it didn't show.
Right.
Nobody's showing if you make sure.
It's dots. You're gonna count how many dots.
Is it Morse code?
You do it.
Kim, this is Ruth. If people try hard enough, they can definitely figure out your password because I can see your hands on the keyboard right now.
Oh.
Okay.
There you go. Just gonna just give more anxiety.
Oh, you mean they'll be there forever on the damn, oh my God, okay.
Changing
Well,
password.
thank you.
Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
More concerned about your grade book.
I'm so naive. Okay, where are we? But the screen sharing is working, right?
Don't see anything.
It does say you are screen sharing.
No, actually, it just says, please remember to sign out or restart after use. That's what I'm seeing. All right.
Your desktop, we see a blue desktop.
You're just seeing my desktop.
Yes.
Just stop share and try again. It sometimes doesn't have you log in and out.
Thank you.
Is Maria with us?
Will be with us
soon.
Is it working now?
I just wondered if she was on the phone.
All right, so,
Yes.
so Tricia and Timmy.
Such a far away. Right,
All right?
I just had
Wait,
a.
shh, shh, shh. Please tell me sooner when that happens. We're pretty deep into this meeting when I was not successfully screen sharing.
I was looking at my,
Oh, you didn't need it. Okay, I need you guys to do that for me. Okay, but it's good now, right? We got it.
it's good.
All right. Where are we?
I just had a.
Liaison report.
Oh, I'm sorry, Kim, can we ask a quick question about the enrollments on Maria's thing, or should we wait till she's here?
Why don't we just wait anyway?
Okay, okay.
Good question. It wasn't being shared anyway before, so
Oh,
who cares? I was so on it today. Okay, so anything that liaisons want to read out or just have me scroll slowly? How do you want to handle your reports?
Scroll back.
Okay, we're scrolling through stuff. Right, okay. Right. Okay. All right, Tricia. Okay,
Could I possibly ask a question? Quickly,
yes,
from the Faculty Partnership for Student Success. You linked these payroll tracking, first half, second half. Is this tutoring budget? Is this reader budget? I mean, what is it?
it's tutoring.
Tutoring.
Budget, yes.
Oh, I'm
correct.
sorry. So
Yeah.
this is what every department,
Correct.
yeah, I'm
It's for the
looking
whole
at it.
campus, and so Lolly's done an incredible job of putting it all on one spreadsheet. So that way you can compare, like your program's allotted tutoring budget, and it's, everybody's included, including the PAL tutoring and the STEM, the math tutoring laboratories, all included. And it includes, embedded and, non-embedded tutors as well. And you can email us at Lolly directly with any questions.
We still have PAL?
Well, it's been absorbed into the general tutoring fund, but it's the STEM, like this, the folks in ECC4, biology, chemistry, physics, and engineering.
The no PAL classes with the PAL tutors like we used to.
No, and Beth, you want to speak to that?
So PAL is a kind of tutoring. And we were using it as a shorthand for the tutors who were being paid for by the Title III funds. And we no longer have those Title III funds, so the tutors are being paid out of the unrestricted general fund, but they are still doing the style of instructional support that is peer assisted learning in those disciplines. If that makes any sense.
So it's not in the classrooms like they used to be.
Those are non-embedded tutors, those are tutors who do tutoring outside of.
Thank you. Okay, great. So we have CAC, we have CPC. And Katie. All right, thanks, you guys. All right. So then these information items are here if you have any questions as I move through. The part that I wanted to highlight is just that.
I just had one note about the PNR, if I could.
Of course.
So in PNR, I didn't detail this, but we talked a lot about the experience of different people with the small groups and the facilities master plan meeting. So Dean Allen Price reported, Mike Young reported, and Kathy reported about their experiences with those. And the one thing I wanted to emphasize was, the first question that the consultation group Cambridge West had was, where do you see your program going? Do you see your program expanding? What are your future, plans for your program? And because there wasn't a lot of prep for those meetings, I just wanted to emphasize that if anyone in this room or in their programs or divisions have still not met with Cambridge West, that's an important thing to discuss with the department before going there. In addition to use of your building, but also future plans.
Wonderful. If you'd be comfortable just going in there and putting in 2 bullets.
Yes, I
One
will.
would be
I will do.
discussion of use of facilities and
Future plans for
future
programs.
plans for your program. Beautiful. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah. So it makes it all worth it that I do that live link. It's like, this is like the only reason. All right. Then it's just PDF or something. Thank you. Okay, so these are here. If you have questions, the only thing that I want to remind everybody of is that it will be this institutional effectiveness plan developed through CPC. So it's going to be one of those things where we just try to make sure I get Senate's looped in depending on the calendar, but it is at the CPC level. But we always try to send stuff at the same time. And then we haven't met, but it was a really good meeting on the 4th. And then CPC talked about the 5th. Our visiting team was great. They were really impressed by our commitment to wanting to improve. And, but also they said we have a great reputation statewide. They're happy to be here. And, said we're not alone with the budget problems. There's just been, it's been all over the state. And, we look forward to hearing they're gonna send us a written summary and a menu of options, and Erica will be sending those out. And then we will be discussing what to choose. And they did emphasize, they can tell that we know what we're doing and what we need, so they're expecting us to really pick what makes sense to us, so it was good. Facilities vision plan, the highlight here is that they will be talking to PNR at sometime this spring, and so I've encouraged people to email Bill with the date if they want to make sure, and I can ask Katie to let me know as soon as they know. But Bill, I'll see him at CPC. So if people want to attend that, we can make sure they have that option.
The projected date is the week after spring break. I think that's April
9th.
9th.
It would be the
April
9th because we're the 10th.
Yes.
Oh, wonderful. So April 9th is the expected date.
Yes.
So you can
I think
attend live.
he's connecting to Megan to just confirm that.
Perfect. And then there's a high flex option too, right? For you guys, because you're in.
No.
Oh, he doesn't do that.
There has-
Okay. In person. Okay, so in person meeting if you want to attend, right?
3:15.
3:15. Okay. Great. All right.
That's
Um,
that's the consultation group, people on the facilities master.
And then I just want to speak, I made this Google Doc because I am challenged to look at these spreadsheets. But I put a date when I last revised it, like can't necessarily keep up. So don't assume that the last I checked it, I put a date and it's up to date. This one should be the most up to date, this Google Doc sheet. So just little caveat about that. Okay, we are forming a bookstore advisory committee. Yes, would have been nice to have met before the book orders were due. Didn't happen. Jonathan's going to be our student rep, which is very cool because he was here through the discussions, and we're really happy for that. And so I have reached out to Paloma, and I think I CC'd you too. I don't completely get. There's like student affairs, and of course, academic counseling's in it. So like it's Senate, there's all the stuff that is in Senate. And then if we want a CSEA person, does that have to go through the manager? Don't have to answer that now, but if you guys can help me get a rep, that'd be awesome. And I do think it would be cool if it was a CSEA person, because that'd be a chance to get that perspective from student affairs if you guys do. But I basically, I want a CSEA person, not a faculty. Not a faculty. We have plenty of faculty. So
I think
Um,
Paloma recommended someone from EOPS or from financially.
But she didn't give me a name, so I need to help getting a name.
Okay.
And I don't know how you clear that with gas. That'd be awesome, because you guys have like a meeting, right, with student affairs, so. And if you don't, well, anyway. And if it ends up needing to be faculty for some reason, I'm open to that, but I just thought it would be cool to have the wider representation if that happens. Okay. All right. So Margaret, here is our moment of truth, because this stuff's all linked.
So a sign on the board, Margaret, if you joined something else.
Right, so if you're sure you want to do that, but you're sure you don't want to try that here, because I then have to figure out how to make you co-host, which I probably can once you join. That's your first choice.
Yes.
You are gonna sit at the table though, right? Or were you planning? Okay, so I'm clearing out. So you're sure you don't want to make sure this will work?
Let's see if it works. Hello, everybody.
Hey, Margaret.
Hello. Hey. While we're working on that, I have items to head up.
Okay, actually, let's work on this first. Can I get you into, so I can make you both get into Zoom? And then that might be hard.
Sure. These are cupcakes. The host is Ding Dongs. I'll send them back this way and then go all around.
Sorry, Zoomers, is when you realize how.
And then these are lanyards based on your cap, so feel free to take business and entrepreneurship, culture, society, human behavior, industry, and applied technologies, healthcare, wellness, public service, arts, or nature and others engineering. I'll sort them out here, and feel free to take a couple to hand out to the colleagues. And then on this side, I'll do both ways, just handy handouts. Just for references in case you've got questions. Before you answer. You didn't get the title. Yeah. Thank you.
All right, so Zoomers, I am stopping the share because Mark will be sharing soon. And then I think I'll have to, I don't know how I'll get that up.
Did everybody get? So. I don't think I have the ability to share yet.
I said you co-host, so.
Go ahead, let me try. Sure, it'll be fine.
Well, maybe not.
Let's see.
Maybe you have to be up here.
I'll say share screen now and then.
Oh, yeah, that would fit.
There it is. You got it. Well, maybe. I just don't see my screen. Let's see if this works. Sorry, it's weird it's asking me.
You want to just try and stand up here or?
No, do not quit and be. Okay, that's what you get for having everything like all like set and ready. Okay, tell you what, I have a
I have one already.
Can you use that kind of?
All right, you don't want to do this.
Okay, well, I have a bunch of stuff all queued up here to make it a little easier. This happened in Senate too, and anyway, all right. You guys can do this QR code, how about that? You guys, put your thumbs on the QR code, I made a doc with bullet points to help you out for your reports, their constituents, so if you can just hold this up, hold it up, if you could just point your phone at it, you'll get the doc. It's not one of the things there, because I made it today. Let me see it. Oh. And. Yeah.
Okay. So what should you do for the?
Okay, I'm gonna come out here so they can see it. Zoom, or I could send you, what if I send you the link and then you can share it there?
Yeah. I'm gonna copy link. And, where's the best way for me to add it right now? To send it to you, Kim? I'm gonna put it in the chat. Will that work?
Think it will. No, we don't have chat.
Well, the Zoom chat, everybody Zoom should see it. Did that-
Okay, there it
did that
is.
work?
Yes.
Cool, cool, cool. All right, we'll just start with that. I mean, all the
Okay.
stuff I want to share is somewhere else, but okay, cool. So very, very quickly, and I may just need to come up there and show something.
Share this email?
Sure. Just, I don't know why sharing isn't. So a couple of very quick, take advance. Nope, okay.
All right.
So just a couple of quick announcements. One is Guided Pathways is going to be presenting at a statewide Pathways to Equity Conference in April. We were selected to present again. We presented at the RP group earlier, and this is about our guides program. So all the amazing folks who've been a part of that program, we're helped, I think, 2 other colleges start a similar program at their college, and the hope is that more will come and be inspired to do something on their campuses too. So just a shout out there for all the people who supported and have been a part of our guides. And if you're interested, just let us know. We'll probably start a new cohort this summer. And the materials that you have linked on the agenda, and then the ones that I passed out for you all are just for reference. I'm not going to spend time going over them today, but I'll just show you what they are. So this is just to remind you, because there's some people in the room here who maybe weren't a part of the Guided Pathways work when we started, and it's kind of nice to kind of have the context when we talk about pieces. So the first one here is the guiding principles and aspirational values with students at the center. And this will just remind you of what we'd all written as our purpose statement, our why, our philosophy of the Guided Pathways mindset. So the purpose is that education is a means to achieve social justice, equitable social, economic outcomes, and intellectual, professional, personal growth. And then the values include being equity-driven, integration, evidence-based, intentional, deliberate, transparent, strength, assets-based. So all that's here for you to review and have on hand in case anybody has questions.
Agenda also?
I believe so. If not, I'll make sure I get that to you.
Well, I want to just show the, Zoom people at the table.
There may not have been
one
one of them. 2 of them are, and then 2 of them aren't. So I'll make sure and get you the other 2.
Okay, so we'll add additional attachments shared here.
Yes, I will.
Okay.
Then we have,
I've interrupted you once. I just want to share with the group that, I got so distracted by trying to figure out why you couldn't screen share. We are at this really exciting time where over 5 years of collaborative work that Margaret's done with hundreds of people across the campus. Remember, we did different ones at Flex. We've been all over. It's so many resource guides, so many projects that she's involved everybody. The guide she just talked about is one of those. So now we're at this point of figuring out integrating all of these piloted, experimented, collaborative built programs into our existing structures. So our 2 VPs of academic affairs and student affairs are having a series of meetings, and they're bringing in different people as they're related. Margaret's been working so hard to try to communicate the complexity, all the details of this work, and they're working really well together as they continue to work on it. This fall, I think we'll be coming back and thinking more about the sense involvement. So I just wanted to give you that context as to why we're making these presentations as we're, spreading out. You're also going to Student Senate. And I just want to take a moment to say the amount of work that has been accomplished in these different groups with so many different people through so many college presidents and VPs is surreal. It is honestly I'm repressing a certain word. It's unbelievable. It's just been so, I am amazed. And so I want to thank you and also welcome everybody. This is the time we're going to be coming back together to figure out how to make sure that we preserve and continue to develop this important work. So I just wanted, I didn't get to tell you. So thank you, Margaret.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Well, again, it's everybody who's been a part of this for a long, long, long time. So, so again, the first one was the aspirational statements, guiding principles, our philosophy of guided pathways in the back is a handy dandy chart of operationalizing those 4 pillars we talk about all the time. So we talk about the focus of students, and that's the big one. Focus of students, and the issue is equity gaps and opportunities missed, and our priority strategies. So when you talk about the 4 pillars, these are where the different projects fit in. Okay, the next paper is going to show you a very overwhelming graphic of a student journey experience overview map. I know that one's linked. But that, you can read it another time when you want, and it just goes through the milestones of a student journey and what they might go through, what it looks like, and how the different programs and pieces fit into their student journey. Absolutely. I don't know who's got them. They must have a stack of these.
There's 4 here.
Pass them back. And then on the last side is highlighted current projects. These aren't all the projects. These are some of the highlighted projects. And they explain at the top, what's the question we're hoping to answer? What is the thing? Which pillar is it? What is it? And what will students experience? So the one we're going to look at today, well, actually, let's jump back to, if you don't mind, Kim, would you please do me a favor and click on the one that shows degrees and certificates by CAP?
Is that in, sorry, is it here or the other one?
Yeah. And then this is the, this brochure, we'll show you what we're handing out to students. And we have stacks of these if you want to have them available in your offices or anywhere where students are. That lists the different career and academic pathways.
I'm sorry, Margaret, would you want me to click on?
Could you please click on the one that says that in your handout that you shared today, or is it in the agenda? What am I? Could you please click on the one that says my path? Oh, no, up a little? Is it in your handout? Up a little? Is it above where? Scroll up, please. Scroll up. No.
So these are the 4 things that you did for the agenda, that was on your handout that I could click.
Okay, there it is, the CAP degree cert numbers, that one, thank you so much, that one. And I'll make sure and get you links to everything else to go in the agenda. So, again, you'll see the different, the CAPs, and then the programs listed, and then the QR code will take you to their sample program map page. And I just wanted you to see, this is, I think, an interesting breakdown to show you where we are currently with the sample program and transfer maps by CAP. So you can see where our local degrees, ABTs, UC tags, certificates, and so on, and our non-credit, and where all the totals are. We have 300 maps up right now available for students, which is really cool. So just a quick update on that. All right, now if we can go to back to this one with the list of all the projects. The one we're going to talk about today, let's see, I have a theme song for you for it. Here we go. You can hear it. Can you figure it out from the line? Which project are we going to talk about? What do you think? Physical education. What? Okay, there we go. Now I got the earworm going. Okay, cool. So my path is we launched it as a kind of soft launch, so this might be the first time you've heard of it, and that's totally fine, because we've just started it the last week of last March. So what it is the application that's run, just as a reminder, by CCC Apply, is confusing for students, and we're working on fixing that. When I say we, mean the state, everybody knows it's a problem. But some of the issues that we have from it are, for example, students are asked to say what their interests are, what they'd like to learn more about, and then they didn't go to anybody. So they may say, I want to know about athletics, I want to know about EOPS, and then athletics or EOPS would never find out, they'd never get the info, that would remain unclosed. What we built, is these personalized cards that students see, and that's what I had on my laptop to show you. But in the very top of Pipeline, you're gonna see my path here between Starfish and Canvas. It doesn't have a little logo, but I hope that our soon-to-be hired graphic design guided pathways intern will design a little logo for us here. And what happens is, we had made any different category on the application can be tied to a field that the student will get a personalized card. So let me just back up and say what the ask is right now for everybody here is help fill information students are going to see based on our caps to get excited about what they can do in our cap. So let me back up a minute. So what we built was these cards, and just show it here, and I can't show it. Okay. All right.
When you click on My Path, does it just take you to the California Community College Chancellor's office?
It takes you to your CCC ID. It's a single sign-on. You don't have to remember your ID or password or anything. Once it connects it for you through Pipeline. So that's the nice part, is students don't have to remember or anything. They'll get auto logged in. When you click in it, you're going to see some cards that everybody sees. So there are some cards everybody sees. The first one is a welcome to SBCC card. And it's got a welcome message from the president, and a welcome video from our former student body president, and a video about our campus and so on. Then the next card everyone's going to see is about career and transfer. Then everyone sees a card on resources, mental and physical wellness. Now, depending on how they filled out their application, students are going to see a card on their next steps to enrollment. So if they're a new college student, they'll see the steps to enrollment for that. They'll see transfer student, they'll see based on how they filled out the application. But sometimes students don't get the categories correct, and then that causes more problems for them later. Like they think they're a transfer student because they transferred here, when we mean you're a transfer student if you intend to transfer. Things like that can be confusing. So they're going to see their correct steps to enrollment. Once they click on a task, it turns green and tells them that they've completed it. Also, when you click on a card, you're going to see there's a what, there's a why, how long it's going to take. So it gives them a good sense of what's coming. And how long and why we're saying to do this.
Margaret, can you explain this graphic at some point?
Yes. So the cards up here are what I'm referring to, the different steps and what students see. So there's the steps, the cards everybody gets. Then there's the cards that are tied to their steps to enrollment. Then there are certain categories that they belong to. So if a student has filled out a card in a particular way, they're going to see welcome to the promise, or you are qualified for the promise, or you should know about Guardian Scholars because you indicated you were a former foster care, or veterans. So, or raíces, or Moja.
Is there like a sandbox available where people could click it and see cards, or is that?
Yeah, you can all see your cards. You're just not going to see what all the students are going to see because you don't have an application.
But I have cards, I haven't applied.
Well, actually, we'll let you know. You see some.
Yes, I've seen.
Okay, so I don't know what, some people here in the room are able to do something, and I don't know if it's gonna be your.
I got this, Mark.
Lots of help.
This is what I got, Margaret.
Oh.
And I've done it 3 times.
Because you haven't done an application.
Okay, let's, for one moment for the Zoomers, if you are currently enrolled as a student for some reason, you will have these things, so. Danielle said she is for something, so.
Yeah.
And then you can go into your own Pipeline page and find these cards if you want to. Okay.
Unfortunately, what Kathy described is because she doesn't have a current CCC ID and a current application on file, but anybody who's done an application will see this, and it is now connected to their Pipeline. So they'll also get a card based on what major they selected. So, for example, If they said they were an accounting major, they're gonna say, welcome to business and administration. And then there are certain things I populated just based on looking through emails and saying the kind of things I've learned about here, but I know it's by no means a comprehensive list. So for example, looking at my build sheet here, I was gonna show you, so the first time to college, returning, okay, then I'm gonna get to the category here.
Margaret, I can open an incognito window if you want to sign in.
It's okay, this is all, so passworded and all the different, it's gonna take a while to log in, but I will just talk us through it really quick. So Promise Veterans, Guardian Scholars, and Moja Raices, residency for tuition, money, and then, anybody who has said they're interested in learning about certain things, they're going to see those now. So if they said, I want to know about DSPS and so on, they're going to actually see those. So here's, for example, what I have listed for business and entrepreneurship. Students are going to say, welcome to business and entrepreneurship. Then they're going to say, explore degrees and certificates in your CAP and see sample program maps. And they're going to go to the sample program map page. They're going to go to the professional development program for the work-based learning courses.
I did it.
They're going to see the Scheinfeld Center and they're going to
Not
see the
right.
Scheinfeld Center event calendar. But maybe there's more things to be included in that CAP. For culture, society, and human behavior, all I have are program maps. For healthcare, wellness, public service, all I have right now are explore the program maps. Same with industry and applied technologies. Nature numbers engineering, I have it going to STEM transfer program, MESA program, earth and planetary events calendar. And the arts, I have going to the Trello board the arts team made, the Atkinson Art Gallery, the theater group productions, music events, dance program. So that's and then there's an undecided. So any student who doesn't have a major, Chris Phillips made a form for people to fill out so they could have a career counselor reach out to them, and different exploration of Eureka tools and other kind of resources he put together. So the bottom line is what we would really love to do is make students are really excited. They've just hit their send on their application. They're the most excited they are. They get this link right now. Click to take your next steps on your journey. They get that card. Welcome to your CAP. And now what do we want to give them, show them, connect with them right away to help them belong and connect and really make these CAPs meaningful for them. When I talked to Student Senate, we talked about having the clubs that fit into the various CAPs be promoted there. It can go to a web page, just give me a URL. It can go to a form, so just give me the form link, or it can go to a YouTube video. So you or your students or your department can make a short video, and I put that in here. One of those three things, a website, a form, or a YouTube video.
So you put that in.
Just email it to me and I'll add it.
On
And
your handout now.
yeah, so that's what I said, just ask, please provide link, form, or YouTube video for CAP engagement. Any ideas you have that would make, that you would want to get students to know about right away, right when they're just beginning their journey to get connected. It could be just you doing a quick video showing the building and saying, here's where we are, here's our offices, we can't wait to meet you, anything.
I think that it really worked out that Margaret got this role because she is very techie and like visual, and that's what students are. Many students are now. So when you register, you're right. This is the chance to like send them stuff that they'll click on. Now, I wouldn't, that's not my culture, but it is theirs. And so this is this great opportunity and you remind us of that. So what the tricky part is who does it, right? I mean, department chairs are busy, who's in charge? So that's why we, last summer, we brought forward this proposal to try to have a CAP committee. Like so many other things, we've been busy doing other things, so we're gonna try it again this year. I think we'll bring this back before the end. And this would be a great project if we do manage to have this CAP committee. We need a place to do this work.
And I would say there are probably things you already have. I'll just put links to, right? I just don't know about them. You may have a great website or club or something you already are doing. But this, I just did these as kind of a place to begin.
So I want to just confirm, so when a student picks a major, they're also put into a into one of
Yes.
us. One of us.
And as the application has been updated, what students see now, they used to see a big jumble
So
of
they're
all
all
the.
counting, because it was the first one. Didn't get it, so you can-
Now they see the 6 caps, and when they click on that, they see just the programs that are in each of these
Perfect.
buckets.
Literally
The
choosing a
not
cap.
everything.
And do they have to choose a program in the cap, or can they just stay at the cap level?
They can choose, they have to choose a major in order to receive financial aid and other things, so it's better for them if they do.
Right.
But they can choose undecided, as you
Right.
can see, we still have a lot of students who select undecided. Okay,
They can
beautiful.
still look at the whole
They can-
list,
yeah.
or they can look at it this way. Sometimes students have a hard time finding what their major is within these caps, so then they can just look at it by alpha order also.
And we want to give them every different way to find it. So, and then Katie, you wanted to know what that.
Yeah,
other-
it,
So-
it almost looks like November 1920 or something, but no,
Yeah, so
what is it exactly?
Can I show you, Kim, if you would be so kind as to click on the one that says My Path Usage Running Totals?
So is that in our agenda? Yes.
Correct.
Okay, yes, so now
This
I'm
is
going
just for fun, in case you like this kind of level of detail, it's something you could look at later, it might be useful, it's what I'm gonna look at too. This will show you, since we started My Path, and again, this has all been a very soft launch. Since last March, we've had 46,518 tasks clicked on, basically. And this will show you kind of the breakdown by month. You can see April and May is just a hugely impacted in terms of our application process and when students complete applications. And
Sorry, what are those numbers on the side, actually?
so the numbers on the side and in the bar graph represent the number of tasks completed, My Path cards. So remember I said how you click on something, it turns green? They've done the task. Every time one of those has been clicked on, that's what those numbers are. And I can show you the breakdown if you go by, for example, just click on February last month.
March, April, May.
It just says 12 February 2024.
Click on this bar or the
Excuse me, scroll down just a little bit, it's hyperlinked.
February.
No, please scroll down below the number where it says totals. Keep going. Just keep going. There you go. Do you see February's on the far right? There you go. Thank you. That'll just open this sheet. So it'll show you, for example, all the different cards. The welcome video
Quick
was.
question, do
Yeah.
they watch the video or just click on the card?
We don't know if they watched the
There we
video.
go, right.
We know they clicked on it. So it's not perfect, but it's something. But we can see, where all these land. Now, if you would be so kind as to click on, do you see B? Just scroll over to B, card tasks by month. Card totals by month.
No, but I.
The very
It's in the
bottom.
Yeah.
below.
There you go, perfect, perfect. These will show you all of the totals and you'll see the top cards. So the top cards here, the welcome card is number 1. That's the one over 9827 people. But the next card really surprised me, but I mean, it shouldn't surprise any of us. The next card was mental and physical wellness, resources to do before classes begin, and returning to SBCC enrollment steps. And that, and then the next ones that are the lighter color are the next ones, career and transfer, first time to college and transfer and dual enrollment and so on. And then you'll see money for college and academic help and planning are kind of neck and neck. It's being looked at a lot. I just think these are interesting to kind of see where are the patterns, what are students looking at, what are they interested in learning about, what are they clicking on? And then you can see like by cap, what's going on there. It just tells a bit of a story. It's for us to kind of look at. One interesting field I'll say is the residency for tuition down on line 48, the very bottom. This was a new idea that Angelica brought up because students were getting surprised by fees for out-of-state tuition. Because of the way they'd answered questions on the application indicated they were out of state, and so they were hit with these huge fees and they didn't know about it, or then they'd go into collections and, all these big problems would come with huge fees. And instead now they see this card letting them know that that's their status, and click here and learn more about it and let us know if you need to change it, and trying to catch that early. So that's kind of the idea for this is let's see how it is. I'm going to tell you one other really interesting thing. So these numbers are a lot, right? The numbers by month, I think 46,518 is a lot. When I said, when you click on it along the top of your pipeline, that wasn't working due to an IT problem that got resolved just a few weeks ago. So that means all of these tasks were only being done with the immediate link right after they hit the submit and something emailed to them. I think that's pretty amazing. And now that they'll be able to access this on their pipeline, I think it'll be even so. But I wanted, again, you to be aware, this is what students are seeing. It's on their pipeline. And I think this is a great opportunity for us to put things in front of them to help connect and belonging and start all that stuff from the beginning. Questions?
So I forget when Jordan came in and talked about the MySBCC and having like pages for the department.
Yes.
Can this connect to that, or we just give you that same link, or?
Absolutely, it can connect. If you have something you're already making there, I think it's great to have it in multiple places. There's no reason to reinvent wheels. Once we've got a great thing, let's put it in as many places as possible to give it as much opportunity to be seen, 100%.
So will we start seeing more numbers if they see that hot link? That's the question, right? If they see it.
Well, the question is hopefully yes. And then the question is for all of these things, like the maps are great, the caps are great, all of this is great, but it doesn't just live on the website. It has to actually change a student's experience, right? It has to actually change their way they're experiencing this campus. And that comes out of people. So who shows them this information? How do they know it's here? Students recommended we make a video, put it on our homepage. When do they see the maps? Students recommended, our students are brilliant. They've got great ideas. They recommended that every intro course feature the maps for their programs, degrees and certificates for about 15 minutes. So everybody can see what those kind of majors look like. Things like that. It's going to come down to how we as a campus work with our students and how we help them and talk about it with them and introduce it with them. So that helps. Just having it be a button, man, maybe that won't do much. But how if someone's in front of you and they're stuck or they're wanting to know, oh, have you tried clicking on here? Let's see if you qualify for any of these special programs. Maybe you have a card here, and it's like that.
Yeah. So on the April 19th, promise registration thing, I've noticed in the sign up that as faculty, we're signing up for our area. So tell me, how are students going to be sort of directed? How are they going to know as they come in? What kind of information will they have so they even know which area to go to?
Kathy, that's an excellent question. I see Melissa's hand is up. Melissa, I know you and Sarah have been working on this and you're part of the team. Would you like to answer this question?
Yeah, I know I don't know if it's usual for me to respond since I'm not on Senate, but I'm a part of the work group that's been working with enrollment services, and Sarah Voley and myself have looked at over 600 students who are potentials to attend, and we are organizing those students based on either their major or their caps. It just depends on the numbers. And so once we have those students organized, that's when Sarah and myself will start reaching out to faculty to let you know how many majors or students who have declared your cap are going to be in there, so that hopefully then you will have enough faculty reps to help them not only register but also use that as an opportunity to get them excited about your program. So that email will most likely come after spring break once we've done all of that organizing work on the back end.
Thank you, Melissa.
Thank you.
And I would say also that we've put one of these in everybody's folder. So when you're in the room with students after they've registered, you can direct them to where they can go explore the different degrees and certificates, and they can start clicking around. You can start talking to them about those and your programs, and getting them excited about that. And I would say also the job fair, the great internship and job fair that Christina McGuire is organizing is going to have, hundreds of people from outside the campus coming in. And the county of Santa Barbara is so excited about our CAPs. They, on their own, when they made a form for their 70 to 80 employers that are coming to our campus, they asked them to identify which CAP they are a part of. And they're going to be seating all the different employers by CAP and having them check in by our CAP pop-up booths and a little passport card showing all the different employers there for the CAP. And then when they get them checked off, they'll get their free tacos and just exciting things. But see, all of that comes out of people finding ways to make all these alive and real, and these are, that was Christina's idea and the county's idea, and this is the way they kind of evolve. If we give it time and all of us kind of think about our own way we can do this for our students.
Remind us of the date of the job fair.
Oh, is it April?
19th. It's Friday, the 19th of April.
So that's
I believe it's actually, it's on the 16th.
16.
It's 4/16.
There's two different events.
From 2 to 5. It's April 16th from 2 to 5. And if you'd like to be a part of the CAP group there, please will you let me know, because we'll have those pop-ups. And your department can be there again, talking to the community about the kind of programs.
Oh, well, there's a job fair and then there's. a
Oh, the
promise
job
event.
fair is on the 16th.
Correct.
The promise thing is the 19th.
And then Friday, so Tuesday, Friday. And then, of course, there's our transfer fair, which is so.
And the job fair is especially for students here. The 19th is we're bringing in the high school students.
Yes, and the job fair also will have hundreds of people outside our campus from the community coming in. That's why having
For
our
jobs or to present for job, like, they're gonna be also
So
visiting.
there will be,
employers?
what I understand is there will be 70 to 80 employers.
Okay.
And then about 300 community members coming to our campus, because the job internship fair is for everyone in our community, not just our students. But this is a great opportunity to bring in community members to our various programs, especially our culinary and our construction tech and our, our industry programs that people may not know about. So, and geology. So. Yes.
I just wanted to say, first of all, super awesome to hear about this again outside of Student Senate. It's really exciting. And I think that a lot of people would really use this. I know that everyone there was really enthusiastic about it. And I've actually talked to a couple of friends about this, and they are surprised that it's there because, it's kind of hard to find. I know you had said that other than in pipeline, right? It's that after you submit the application, that's when you can see it, right?
And an email.
It was right in the email, so that's why I know you had said something about this already, and our student trustee had also said this, so that's why I definitely think a video would be really awesome. Because I think the more, that's the best way, I feel for it to be accessible to people. And I know I would have loved to have known about this from the get-go, because I was applying, I guess, kind of right after March last year. So there's that. And then I also think it's what you had said about the videos about the buildings and locations themselves. I think that's, if people were willing to do that, would be really interesting, especially for new students, because I know it's not that hard to navigate this campus, but I think at the start, it's definitely kind of tricky. And I remember first day, someone came up to me and was like, do you know where this building is? And it's no, I really don't. It'd be great, if we had something like that in some form, even for, just, it would be cool to have that, I think, visually.
How much did you pay him to read?
That's another thing, right, yeah.
Until I can't say it, we have an app, you can download called SBCC.
Okay, cool. Yeah.
Which has the Google location of every building and service on campus, so it'll walk you to any place we have.
Beautiful.
For now,
Good to know.
for now, we still have. Does anybody have any other questions? I know I've gone over our time and you have a very big agenda, and I'm really mindful of how much you all have to go through. Please, my deepest appreciation to all senators for doing this incredible work for our campus, and thank you for this kind invitation to let me come and talk today. I'm happy to come to any of your departments and division meetings and talk and coordinate with all of you. You know where to find me. And just thanks again, and if anybody wants more lanyards, please let me know. Thank you all so much, thank you. Oh, first another hand before we move on. Yes.
Just wanted to ask, is non-credit part of this yet, or is that like the next phase?
Yes, it's here. I've asked on our website, when to expect the new cap. I showed you the beautiful color and everything, and I think the last I heard was it'll be there March 25th. So, these brochures were done before that, so, Trish, as soon as these are given out, then I hope we'll have new ones made that have the 7th very important cap on it as well.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you all. Okay. So again, we're aiming by 4:30 to get to item 7.03. We are now on to talking about the budget forum. And so, this is kind of a dual agenda item because your FA president and your past president and myself and steering are planning a plenary for Wednesday, April 3rd. So it's in PS 101. And it's only in person, which, you know, we haven't done that in a while. And it is to talk about our scheduling and our other activities as faculty that relate to budget. And really, the big idea we need to keep exploring is our productivity number, how low it is. There's a lot of good reasons for it, but we did many years ago to trying to raise that, and then for, just like so many other things here, it didn't happen. So the goal of this agenda item is to kind of brainstorm together about what else you would like us to be thinking about for the plenary. Also questions or thoughts after the budget. I did link the YouTube recording that people didn't get to see it, and these slides. And Maria's here now. The slides are really great, and it really helps us to have those things in writing. Thank you. So that is some good homework to do. Before we open it to the floor, I'll just mention again how great it was to hear from Erica, the plan of the budget committee in the fall, and that these are going to be long-term. You know, we're going to have a chance to participate, hear about plans, and really collaborate. But in the meantime, we do know that we need a higher productivity number for sustainability. So that will definitely be a focus for the plenary. I want to invite Cornelia or Tara to say anything else introductory now, because you have really been movers and shakers of making this happen. And so is there any other kind of framing you'd like to provide before we kind of open that up?
Well, I would like to, number one, thank Kim and Tara for and everybody on some steering for trying to making this possible. We intentionally decided to make this an in-person meeting, which, you know, I know there will be some people who have teaching obligations or other obligations that afternoon, but we thought, okay, it's a Wednesday, it's when the Senate usually meets. Let's hope that as many faculty can actually attend as possible. The meeting will not be Zoomed. It's strictly in person. We currently have, we're very optimistic. We have reserved 8 to 11.
Oh, it says PS 101.
101.
Oh, it says PS 101. Okay, then we changed it to PS 101.
Okay.
Conversation, ma'am.
Okay.
Our brains are full.
Is
Okay.
it PS 101?
It's, we're still optimistic because PS 101 is big too. Everybody can come. Everybody is really invited to join. This is a very, very, very important time for our college, for our faculty. We want to hear everybody's voice, so please encourage everyone in your departments and your divisions to attend.
Anything else, Tara, that you want to add for framing? I know CAC has an interesting role in all of these issues at some point.
We do. No, I want to likewise thank Cornelia for this collaboration and to acknowledge that this is really our opportunity to come together across divisions, to work more collaboratively as colleagues and as members of this campus community. We can't really operate in our own little spheres. We need to be very mindful about how we schedule our classes, what times of day, the class sizes, We're probably not gonna fill like 130 people at 8 o'clock in the morning, like those kinds of conversations. And to acknowledge that it will take all of us working together to address the challenges that we face at the college. So this is our opportunity really to work collaboratively. It's our opportunity to share any concerns or maybe frustrations that we have and to work together to find sustainable solutions. So thank you and come. I know PS 101 is like not the most inviting of spaces. I think it looks like like the Star Trek Enterprise, but that's just.
That's inviting.
So just to confirm, this is faculty only?
Faculty only.
Okay.
And dogs. And dog. And there was some FA business too, not a lot.
There is
so.
10 to 15 minutes FA business. It will be quick, I promise.
All right, so do people have things they want to talk more about from the budget forum? People who got to go on Monday or watch the live stream or watch the recording. You know, kind of things that are on your mind in terms of other information you want, or, you know, just thoughts.
Yeah,
Chris.
I did watch it, and there were some questions raised about the accuracy of the data, and I just want to be sure that that's addressed. And then secondly, as we look at this productivity number, there seems to be, it seems to come across anyway as sort of a one-size-fits-all approach. And I think that that's a problem given the variety of programs that we have on this campus. And it seems like we need to have an increased role or discussion with department chairs and deans perhaps to get into the nuances of all of our different offerings.
Do you think that kind of picks up on what Tara was?
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, I emailed Erica at the end of it, because I was concerned that Brian is still using this number, that there are like 83 unused classrooms. And that's based on the report he produced in October, which is grossly flawed and has not been updated, if that's the number he's still
okay.
using.
I'm sorry, I failed. I was supposed to get details from you. Because I'm like, one person knew it had flaws. I'm supposed to send that to the consultants. I said I would on February, on March 5th, and I
I
forgot.
sent the information to Erica Tuesday, so I can.
You mean this, like?
Right after
yesterday?
the budget forum.
Oh, perfect. Yeah, can you send that? That'd be
Yeah.
awesome. Okay.
Because and again, Brian used that number of, we have 10,000 fewer students, which again is not an accurate representation of what's going on. I was also concerned that we added 900 students this spring, and yet the narrative is still that we're declining.
Well, did
And
we add 900 by head count, but not FTS? Is that, you know, added
we
900?
went from 10,100 to 11,000, whatever that number is, I think it's FTES.
That still doesn't include your enrollment.
The enrollment.
Yeah, do you want to come? to
And
the
so-
table yet?
and if
Okay,
you-
we'll try to get.
No, but
Nobody wants to
if
leave
you,
and go back.
I also watched the February 29th budget sustainability, and the consultants who are very smart said, obviously, enrollment alone is not enough to fix this problem, but we should be growing enrollment. And so I feel like that discussion about the need to grow enrollment, all we're hearing is we're declining, we're gonna build smaller and smaller schedules. That's not actually what seems to be happening, nor is it something that the consultants are saying is a good idea. So there has to be some balance between this like narrow productivity number and fill rates and the need just to get the numbers up before we move into the new funding formula. So those were like what was being said in this budget sustainability work group wasn't necessarily what was being communicated in the budget forum. And I do think if we've hired these consultants, who again seem super smart, we should be listening to them.
So I'm gonna push back a little. We need to document what you mean by this, because I've been in both places and I don't see a contradiction. Right,
Well,
so we need to figure out
Well,
how
why-
to
if we're at-
articulate that.
if we're
and
at a-
have the numbers.
well,
for it.
if we're at 11,000 right now, why are we cutting sections by 20% in the fall?
So does that
If we're
question-
growing, which we seem to be, why are we making a significantly smaller schedule in the fall?
Let's go back to the report, because Kate.
Yeah, I had a question about.
So, but
the
that's,
numbers as
thank
well.
you for staying with it. I think this is what we all need help with, and sometimes I am terrible at tracking this stuff, so I need extra help sometimes.
So this was, yeah, my question was somewhat close to Danielle's in the sense that it says, 2024 spring is in progress, but currently, apparently, we have declined by 500. So, but if it's in progress, then how do we know that we've declined? So what are, I mean, so then I'm hearing from Danielle that in fact we've grown. So what are the actual numbers between spring 2023 and 2024? Including dual enrollment, do we know, or?
Yeah, non-credit, don't forget non-credit.
So
that
not
was the
credit
question.
too, but that's a separate question from this, because these enrollments are just credit. But so it says there's a decline, is there actually a decline?
Are the actuals at the end or at the same time as the spring 23?
And did those include?
You let me know when you're ready for me to step in.
We're ready.
Okay, all right. So, so this question here regarding what is the actual, these are the actual spring 2023 enrollments. And the reason why spring 2024 has those enrollments and in progress status is because dual enrollment numbers for the current semester are not captured until the end of the semester. That's why they're in progress.
But so it may be
Did
that.
that answer your question?
Yes and
Not
no,
yet.
I understood that, but what I would like to know is comparing apples and apples. So I understand we can't compare apples and apples because of the delayed, measurement of dual enrollment. But if there is this big narrative that we are down, which is, frankly depressing. It would be nice to know, does the way, of course, to do apples and apples is to remove the dual enrollment from spring 2023 and then compare it to what we have now in spring 2024. That would be a more accurate reflection of how are we shrinking or are we growing, right?
Correct, and yes, that is correct, and we do the apples to apples, to use your same sort of metaphor. For enrollments where we've already captured the dual enrollment. So for fall, for example, fall 22 to fall 23, that should pretty much be compared.
Sure.
Everything. This specific graph does not do that yet.
Exactly.
Yes,
So
that is correct.
so what is the situation, I guess is what I'm saying. Are we declining?
I can get that for you easily.
Don't we know what percentage of the spring was dual enrollment?
You mean spring
Is it
2023?
More than 5%?
We
Or about
do,
5%?
we do, and because those FTEs are captured through positive attendance, and we don't always receive all of our positive attendance records from the CCAP instructors, yeah, exactly. We still wouldn't be 100% accurate because of that. So,
But
there are,
what percentage of spring 2023 was dual enrollment?
about 4%.
Okay,
So
so
then we're
so we
going
are
at 1.3%.
So maybe we'd
Okay.
be down.
That's a little different.
Maybe not.
Yeah.
depending on how dual enrollment.
And I would
is.
caution us though to, in terms of comparing year to year only, because what's gonna be most informative for us is to look at trends. And a year to year is not a trend. And so that's where I would, it tells us where we are right now in terms of, are we up compared to a year ago or are we down? And if so, by how much? It does give us that. But for sustainable, longer term strategies or activities or approaches,
it's best to look at trends.
Of course, but since you have the slide
Yeah,
pulled
absolutely.
out, I mean.
And since we had COVID,
Yeah.
which really screwed up the trends.
I would say that it accelerated what was already coming.
So are you a follow-up, Christy? Because I have a new hand and I don't know, did you want to follow up? or you-
Answer, Danielle.
I do have a ton of-
Yes, I just did the math for the 5%, and if you take 5% out of the 36,800. And then you compare the difference between that and our current in progress numbers, it's only 480 students fewer.
So these are not students.
Those are-
Full-time equivalents then.
This is not even that is
Not that.
These are seats. These are
Head count.
actual enrollment.
Head
Very
Even
different.
though
I just want to clarify, that's not FTEs and that's not headcount.
Yeah.
And going back to actually Danielle's previous question regarding the fall, for example, or regarding actually this spring, in headcount, meaning now number of students, we are up 1.2%, as of like 2 or 3 weeks ago.
Great, problem
Well,
solved.
They're
No,
lower enrollment.
The reason why that's not reflected in the FTEs as such, or in terms of enrollments as such, is because what that means is that while we have more students, they're not all taking as many classes as they did a year ago. And so those are huge considerations. You
But
know,
are there as many classes offered as there was a year ago?
I'm sorry, say that again?
But are there as many classes offered as there was a year ago?
So when we look at the number of sections that we offered in spring of 23 compared to spring of 24, we are about 7.5% lower than a year ago. And, also it's compared to the actual enrollments, it's only about 1% difference in terms of the size of the schedule, if we're gonna measure it that way, and the actual enrollments, students and seats.
Did you get Sabrina's point, though? If we were offering more classes, maybe the head count students would be taking more, but there aren't as many for them to take.
Maybe, but the trend, if you heard what I said earlier too, the trend isn't suggesting that we need more sections.
And the reason, let me explain why, because I've been also studying this a lot.
I would
and-
just say our one-on-one contact with students, the trend that we get from students is that we need more classes. There's not enough. We're constantly referring to other community colleges or CBC because we don't have anything to
Well,
offer.
and can I say something about that? Because what I would say to that is the FTEF, or as you know them, TOUs, are there to justify the size, meaning the number of enrollments. Now, if we are not offering the right courses, that is something that we also have to consider at the departmental level and have those conversations there as well. It's not a sort of simple solution to, 10 students are asking for a class, why aren't we offering a class? There are layers of complexity that unless you deal with the schedule on a semester by semester basis, like department chairs do and deans, it's very difficult to understand.
So I have to jump in because it took me a while to get this. I think this is important. Again, I'm this example of it takes a long time to get stuff in this arena. The number of classes, the lower number of classes, many of those can be duplicated classes that weren't full. So like an online something class. So we had 8 sections of those, all filled at 25. Now we have 6 all filled at 30 or 35. So a decline in sections does not correlate to a lack of choice in all cases. It does for some, especially face-to-face, things that cut, but do you get what I'm saying? We can't see, okay, I'll quit you.
We understand the same problem we're at right now. We work with the students every day. There is nothing for them to sign up for, late start wise.
Well,
that they
okay.
need.
Late start.
We were told not to schedule, as a chair, I was told, stop doing late start classes. Do not do any more late start classes.
And last
Well,
year
then
we were told
students
the
have
opposite.
less units per student. If there aren't late start classes and they're not doing well in a class,
or they didn't, their work schedule changes, or whatever the reason, if there are not options for them, then yes, the head count, each student's gonna have less units. So that's how it works. I had some specific questions. You have talked about that different departments and different deans were given opportunities to open classes. For me, it would be very helpful to understand all this if there was tangible data. Here's how many sections we had. Here's which classes were canceled. Here's when they were canceled. Here's how many students were in them when they were canceled. Were they converted to late start? Were they not converted to late start? Here's where we added classes. Here's where we didn't add classes. I'm hearing the deans were given stuff, that's totally up to the deans, but that doesn't feel super transparent. Like, that data's gotta exist.
We have it. We actually have.
Can you share it with Sen? That would be great.
One quick question to follow up on Christy, to follow up what Christy just said. If there were students in a class and the class was canceled, using Margaret's guides and guided pathways, if they're in the guided pathways, I as a guide, if it was one of my students, I'd be scrambling, trying to help them find another class. So do we have the data on those students who had a class canceled? What happened to them?
And did they
Was anybody ever talking about that? Did they get contact?
And that's where, just like Christy said, now the student doesn't have as many classes because the class was canceled.
And I do know that department chairs are being instructed not to schedule late start classes. So
Yeah,
if
why?
there's a need for late start classes, department chairs should be allowed to schedule those, and they should be allowed to be opened. Because I know accounting, I don't know if that finance 100 has ever been opened, but there's demand for it and we need headcount, so.
Well,
why
the
aren't we
thinking
opening those
was,
classes?
the thinking was if you cancel, if you have no late start classes, then the students are sort of forced into the regular start. And then the idea was that the late start kind of would be held in abeyance. But then in a lot of cases, they just never got over.
May I say something? In our department, we do have late start classes, but we schedule them from the beginning. So we do have late start classes. It can
Did
vary.
you open them from the beginning?
No, they're in the schedule.
We put them on the schedule. We do not open them until,
You put them on standby.
we put them on standby, correct?
Right.
Put them on standby until the ones that start at the beginning of the semester.
But then we were told we couldn't open the standby.
It varied by area, because they built those TLUs into their original.
Right, we built those two TLUs and their late start, they're put on standby. And once those are, those classes are full, then we open the standby.
A lot of departments.
Yeah.
did it.
That's how we're doing it.
I just want to say there will always be a need for late start classes when you're dealing with students, because life happens and things unexpected happen and they have to drop classes or whatever, they decide late that they want to come back to college. And so us not offering them are missing out on all of those opportunities of students who decide late or something happens and they can't continue on with what they're doing. Or they realize at the last minute,
Wait,
I needed this many minutes and I didn't have what I needed, or I needed this class instead of that class. And so we're just not offering any of those opportunities for those students by not having late start.
And so those students have lacked accessibility to come to this college because we are not meeting their needs.
Or to transfer, because.
So Cornelia's been waiting, but do we want to pause it? We're in week 8 now. So we would need, if it was gonna be an 8-week class, we would have to open next week. So it's definitely off the table for this spring, right? We're not gonna try to do any more late. I know the English department would, well, it's next week and I'm, well,
I can also do 6-week classes. I have asked also for a 6-week class, and can I now?
yes, but I do wanna, if that, I want Maria to have the chance to answer that question, but if you wanna do your comment first.
So in the last fall, and this is what those 2 experts from student services are telling us, there's need. In the last fall, we opened Finance 100. They built with over enrolled, added to the cap within 5 days from Monday to Friday, right? I just want to let you know. I'm ready, my department's ready to go to have finance class, a finance 100. We offer to double the cap on this class. I will put 2 instructors on there. You have it, but it's so, you know, I can't ask anymore because how often can you be told no, right? And yes, we did have TLUs for this. I actually canceled 2 classes in the beginning and we reopened one, but the other one, we should have the TLUs. But this said, let me ask a question on this.
I'm gonna just point out, we have had a natural segue to item 7.03. And we are at this moment about a real concern about late start
I'm
class.
not done yet.
I'm just
right?
like letting
It has
everybody know.
nothing to do with late start classes. A quick question on that previous chart, the spring 2024 numbers, are these census numbers or are these current enrollment after census with all the drops that might have occurred after census? Because that was a question, like usually we have census numbers. I think spring 2023 Tableau was census. Spring 2024, when I looked for my department, it was after, it was like not census numbers, but was lower than census.
These are as of 2 days ago.
2 days ago. That means the census enrollment is actually higher.
That's correct.
Yes.
Okay, so this is also my concern. And this is what we heard and what Danielle said. We are at about 11,000 FTS. We want to grow to 12,500. We have what we are, and we learned that in the budget sustainability meeting, if you heard that. We have a window of opportunity. It's called the restoration window. It's 3 years average. So we need to get to a 3-year average as close to 12,500 as we can get, right? And there's various ways to do that. And we have the April 19th enrollment day. This is one way, but again, we also need classes to put those students in that we are hopefully all enrolled. So if that means we have this year, this academic year and next year to grow to 12,500, right? If we can't meet this, what happens is we only can grow our FTES towards the student-centered funding formula calculation if there is state-funded growth. There is no, oh, we just grow and we are kind of like catching up to the 12,500. No, we can only grow if there's state-funded growth. And that is one thing. We are in a window of opportunity which closes at the end of next academic year. My problem is really, I think we should really consider seriously how much effort and maybe also how many dollars and maybe those $400,000 which have been sitting there from the Aspen Prize for 10 years. Maybe we should use them. Maybe that is the use for our future, because here's what's going to happen if we don't. I will talk with my hands a little bit. So we are at the moment at the hold harmless. This is this dollar amount. At the end of 24-25, this amount will become our new floor. Okay, so on the other side, if we calculated our student-centered funding formula income, we are about here, okay, at the moment. But the question is, can we inch it up? Can we grow it up and narrow this gap? Okay, so because what's happening after 24-25 is we will be held here. We will not fall into the whatever, like
the abyss.
Yes, but we will not get any more COLAs. What's going to happen is that COLAs will be any COLA that comes in. I know the chances are not that big that there will be big COLAs, but any COLAs will be applied on these different arms of the student-centered funding formula. That's the base, right, for the what we get for college and for the centers, etc. For the FTS metric, for the supplemental metric, and for the success metric. Those multipliers will get COLA. And by increasing those multipliers, right, at some point, our calculated SCIF in revenue will reach it. And once we are there, then we will get COLA anymore. But for sure, if we are here, it will take us many more years to go up to there. And if we are able to kind of narrow this gap, it might take us fewer years, right? And this is where I'm coming from. I'm all for efficiency, guys. I really try to make this happen in my department, right? And again, we are also ready. I said, I'm doubling the cap on this Finance 100 class. I think we can fill actually the double cap, but I believe there's need. And this is the discussion we really need to have. And there's not a lot of time we can have this discussion. As Kim just said, we are in week 8, right? Late start classes, you can have 8 weeks, 6 weeks.
But what you're saying with the 400,000, we get more adjunct or, you know.
Yeah, it's all about, the issue is that at the
more
moment, we are paid 104 million total computational revenue. Unfortunately, less the deficit factor, I mean, which is really from the state, really unfortunate, right? And I see that we are in really terrible financial state because of this, right? And because of the international students who are not here, right? This is a real problem. This is like out of our budget deficit, 2 million are the non-existing international students that we budgeted for, and then 3.5 million is a deficit factor, 5.5 million.
Yeah.
We would actually be not in that bad of a shape if those things hadn't happened, right? But they did happen. But again, these are the realities, but on the other side, this is also a reality, right? And for 400,000, you can fund quite a number of classes for now, that would be all part-time faculty overload amount, right? The reduced amount. You can, I think, when is the time to use that money?
It's emergency, this is emergency.
So just to summarize, the argument that you are making is we should spend the additional money to get additional enrollment and of course to meet student need. Now, it is not our VP of AA's decision. That is a budget decision. I guess the question is it still time to try to do that for this spring at late start 8 or 6 week? Is that you're on EC, is there any, have we articulated this request enough that it's been heard and it's definitely no? Or is this articulation of the request something that you could still take back to EC and find out if there'd be a chance to do any? It might be a little late for 8. I think we'd have to do the 6, or am I wrong? I mean, can we open, I don't see us opening an 8-week class now that starts Monday, it's Wednesday.
6.
Cause I don't.
Or a 7-week class, it doesn't
we
have
go
to
in?
be 8 or 6,
I don't
it could be 7.
7.
I
So
don't
how many
know.
students do you have waiting for that class? You have a
Well,
ton.
where we have,
Any
at
time
the
to
moment,
list.
the last section of Finance 100 is a face-to-face. So it's capped to 40 and the wait list is full. The instructor that means 45. The instructor said everybody shows up, Monday should act.
So that one is
We don't know it because we don't have another class where we could have a wait list, right?
You could have a wait list and then contact them to do a short, late start class.
But again,
I know.
that experience shows me they will. And if it's not filling, oh well, right?
You try.
So I really think that, I'm just thinking out loud here, right, listening to everyone. I'm concerned that we are trying to come up with strategies or ideas at this level, when we really should be thinking about the bigger picture. And the bigger reality is that we would be investing more money in the short term, hoping that it would have a long-term
Positive effect.
yes, and it may or may not, the trends are showing, no, it won't go in that direction.
But could it happen? Yes. And the other concern is, let's say we say, okay, yes, we have this extra money, extra pot of extra budget, and we're gonna add some late starts for spring. Let's just put it out there. Which department gets to do that?
One's over
Well,
35.
the ones that we
Financially invested.
which ones get to do it, and how fair would that be to the other departments that stay within their allocated TOUs, their allocated FTEF from the get-go, created a schedule that they wanted to offer for the entire semester, and then where is the equity there, would be my question. You know, I'm not saying no, I'm just saying, I'm thinking out loud here with you, sharing my thoughts as you're speaking. And I'd like to hear, you know, where would we go in that sense? You know, why to consider individual pitches is problematic for me. When other departments stay within their TOUs, their allocated budgets, and other departments did not.
Well, I just want to make sure for voices, we all know Finance 100 is important, so.
No, I actually have just like a clarification.
Okay, so you want to do a clarification, Deborah, then Kathy.
Right, thank you. I just want to kind of like have a number out here, so $400,000 in the Aspen fund, and it's again, Aspen does not touch our unrestricted general fund, is about 160 TLUs, including benefits, and that would make what, 50 sections, right? And I also want to say, and because I know that Maria is addressing me, this is not an individual pitch, and we stayed within our allocated TLUs. If there's anybody who has doubt about this, these were our TLUs, right? I just want to say this here because I'm kind of like, I don't want this to be kind of like directed to the accounting department that for some reason we want to make an exception that nobody else gets. I just know that this specific class, I apologize that I said it here several times, fills a specific student need for the math.
I think Kathy was next.
So, you know, I don't see this as a problem. We've always had the ability to ask. And the administration has always had the ability to say yes or no. I am not gonna ask. Okay, I'm not gonna do that. Many departments are not gonna ask. I can see social sciences asking. I can see accounting and finance asking. I can see departments that are already full, that already have classes that they feel pretty confident they can fill. And so maybe you would add a half a dozen late start classes, maybe not this semester, but going forward. We've always had that ability. You've encouraged us over the last 2 years to add late start classes.
Yeah.
Now, all of a sudden, we can't do that. And you know, this is the other problem. You've been talking about FTEF all along. All of us that have been around this place for 100 years, we've always talked FTEFs. And our vice presidents have always said, let's grow FTES, because FTES is going to be the basic number that's going to determine whether a medium college or a small college. So now you're throwing in all the FTF, which is fine, and we understand that. But then where do we start to grow our FTES to make sure that we meet the cap that the
Median.
state has given us and the 12,000 FTES? So how do we balance paying adjuncts, which are cheap, to take classes that we can fill with, we're not being that efficient? Where do you give and take with the efficiency issue? And you know, talk about equity. I mean, I just took my cuts and I'll do my cuts. Whatever you tell me to cut, I'm gonna do it. But I think there are other departments that could have grown and had more sections and helped the rest of us meet that efficiency number. And that's where I think it seemed unfair that departments weren't able to do that.
And weren't able to do what?
To add a section, to keep a section open, to be able to add the accounting classes late, some of the social science classes late, that we know that we're probably gonna fill.
People are not gonna be mad if we're adding classes to meet student.
Yeah,
needs and that help.
That's right.
It should be based on
And
students.
student
That's the
need.
key.
That's
Student
right.
need.
Nobody's gonna be mad that like accounting gets an extra class because students need the class.
That's right.
Like, there's not that kind of TLU competition
So I.
going on among divisions
Yeah.
and departments.
So going back to the bigger picture, if we really want to help students, one thing we could do during a budget deficit that we are all in is add additional more students to the existing sections. That is also true, that is also real, and that is also possible, and that is also probable. So that is something also that I would love to engage in a conversation with all of you about what we can all do to help with productivity, rather than answer questions that I've answered ad nauseum at various settings. And that I don't know how productive that is, honestly. And some of the things I continue to hear, I feel like I've continued to clarify several things, and they continue to come up. Well, I really, this is how I feel. This is how I am perceiving, you know, the interactions. It's not that we didn't allow standby classes to open. It's not that we didn't allow late start classes to be in the schedule. It's that departments originally scheduled classes that way. Some stayed within their allocated FTEF or TLUs. Some did not.
I'm telling you.
The data.
I would love to
I would love to see the data that there is demand as well, in the same way, but I have it.
That's really hard to show the data of who might enroll. I know
You
we
want
have
to
a
tally every.
I know we have student athletes that are
I think
definitely
the big picture is that we need to have a mechanism by which we can capture demand. And right now, what we have.
We have our
are
student
trends,
educational plan.
and we are going by our trends. And even the trends that establish the FTF allocations, the budget, the TLUs, we even went beyond that, and I have that data to show you. Kim has seen it, Cornelia has seen it as well. Every dean went over their FTF allocations based on what data trends show that we needed. Everyone was allowed to go over, some went over more than others, because there was need there, because classes were filling up. And so, you know, that is also true. Now, if we want more, that's fine, but the money has to come from somewhere. And I'll tell you right now, it will not come from the Aspen funds.
Why not? Why not?
That is not for me to say. That is not for me to respond, but I know that much.
Millions and millions and millions of dollars sitting over in that foundation, not being spent. And that's
So-
not your decision, but it's,
I wanna.
why are we not spending the money that we have?
And
We're sitting on $55 million of reserves, COVID money, Aspen prize money, the Aspen prize money, which I'm sure is invested and it's been accruing interest for 10 years. Like, why are we hoarding money and letting this college crumble?
I don't
This
know
is
that-
not your.
Yeah, but I do have an opinion about it, and not that that's gonna matter in any decision, as much as I would hope. But I would say to that, you know, spending more money during a time when a trend shows that we have not been productive, not nearly as much as we should have been for at least a decade, is irresponsible, in my opinion. It really is. And it's not my decision, thank goodness, but if it were, you know, at some point that has to be.
Hold on, guys. I've been working really hard as your president. I'm interrupting this conversation to say something that's very important and we all understand now. I understand Maria's language in a new way after months of trying. We chased FTS that was very expensive. Our classes are small, they're great. But the fact that we have been so far below the 16 for 10 years is an important fact, and it's not, we don't get it. I'm talking for me too. I finally get it, and we're gonna show you this at the budget form. We committed with Paul Jarrell, was it 5, 7, whatever many years?
2007, 16, 17.
2017. Now, we did have the pandemic, but that wasn't until 2020. We committed then to improve those numbers, which were low then, and we didn't do it. Now, there's reasons we had different VPs, and because we don't want to. We like our class sizes.
And then we went through
And
COVID.
so
I mean,
what's happening now is we can't, the 55 million we are literally crumbling. The roads and the buildings, and it's because we haven't spent on maintenance. And then it costs you more when things break. We did keep offering classes and we got enough HERF money and COVID relief to have small in-person classes. And of course, we weren't gonna work on the buildings then. We're all just wearing masks, trying to stay alive and still have classes. But I think what I'm asking everybody, the passion you feel is because we want students to have the classes they need. And that's really important. But what you're not hearing is we have offered a lot of classes that were very expensive for a long time. And so now, as we think about what we open, what I feel, Maria, is not ad nauseum. They were answering your question about would people feel it's unfair? And Danielle does speak for all of us, and this is a representative group. I'm okay if you decide not to open English 110s that have a cap of 28 and actually sort of 24 when you look at all of it. But we do want to open this finance, it's at 40. And right now, the current class with the late starting person is over enrolled. They're going to take over the cap, which is exactly what you just asked. So what we're saying to you now, if you feel like you could open 6 or 8 late start classes that counselors know students need, we would all feel great about whatever you decide on that, if you want to. And so that's just the finance 100, whatever else, 6-7 week length, whatever would allow you guys to fill them. If you're still willing to do that, it's to meet student need. That wouldn't be that much money. It's like 6 sections or whatever. And so we would love that for enrollment and to meet that need if you think you can. So I think that's it. We've asked.
That's what we're asking.
And if you are able to talk to executive counselor, just do it yourself, yes. You know, open that finance class, open whatever else you guys say you know students need. That would be awesome. If not, we need to move forward. And the place we need to move forward to is this bigger plan where we offer a schedule that doesn't cost 13 productivity anymore. And one way to not do that as we try to learn it is to over-enroll our classes. So I will be going back to the English department and asking them to do that. I'm gonna say, who in their life can do that? Because we need to improve productivity and meet student need. That's part of what we're talking about at the plenary. So I just want to diffuse it. There's that request, Maria. We would like it to happen. We're telling you, we don't care about fairness.
And I would say, well, and that's just one layer, and I would say it's not about, I will consider it, and it's not about me wanting or not wanting. It's also a fair sort of thing to add to that, because, you know, if it were up to my wish, I mean, the world would be different, but I'm not the Queen of England, you know, and so that is also a reality.
But it should be fair between faculty, we're saying that's not our issue. Okay, we don't have a lot of time left since Christine
And I
is
will
waiting.
say that one of the things that has really brought our productivity down over the last, at least over the last decade, is the fact that 70% of our CORs are capped at below 35.
Right. We're gonna talk about that more. It's the classes we offer. It's not, yeah.
Us. Yes, the classes that we offer.
So Christy, you just might just get close to the last word, Cornelia, because we try not to go more than 2 minutes over. Folks.
I would like to see what our productivity number is for 30 years.
Yes.
Talking about the last 10 years, I'd like to see it for 30 years.
I would too, and Tableau Max is at 2014, so which is why I keep bringing in 9 years and 10 years, because Tableau and Max is there, so yeah, I would love to do
Productivity,
that too.
I'd love to see that. I get that the classes should be filling at what their course of record is and or over, and I understand the administration's desire to have classes fuller. Totally hear that and totally get that. The logic for me doesn't work in the building to the trend. If the trend is going down and you build to a downward trend, we will always go down until we don't.
Which is why we kept FTEF or TLUs on reserve for that exact reason, to make sure that we could address departments that were growing.
Okay, you know what? It's almost 5, so I'm gonna write that question down because it's hard to understand this, you guys. We talked, so we won't answer that now, but we're gonna have it for the plenary. This is what we're here for, so additional questions. No,
No.
but I've asked her, but thank you for, yeah, we want to help us get ready for it. So,
Can I-
Christy, you can share the list of questions with steering. Steering's gonna be planning next week.
I was gonna send it to Maria.
And,
copy you.
yeah, then copy me,
on
and yeah,
it.
perfect, that's perfect,
Can
okay.
I make a
And yeah, and then
about
Cornelia
kids
might get the
moving
list.
We've
Oh,
had a
you don't?
decade of terrible leadership. And I don't even know how many EVPs and presidents we've had. I've been here since 2009. I think we've had 8 or 9 presidents. The only reason this place is standing is because of faculty and staff. And so we are all very frustrated when we are being told that we're not working hard enough and we're not doing enough for this college. And we're the reason that there's a budget problem. And
I
that
don't
is,
think that's what's.
that is the
that's what you're
message,
hearing.
that's what I'm hearing, and that's what all the faculty in my division are feeling. So we're willing to work for the college, we've kept this place going.
And during COVID.
And during COVID, and putting our own lives at risk by coming in and teaching large groups of students. And having to fight the board to have a mask mandate. And so I feel like whatever the administration is doing, you all are new, you've only been here a couple of years, someone only not even a year yet. You need to understand the trauma that we have gone through, and of course, we're pushing back. We don't trust you. You may be gone in another year. We may have another president in a year and a half. Why should we trust the administration? And that is what is going on. And that is why we don't believe you and why we keep asking you the same questions.
Well,
I mean, it's not that we don't believe you, but it's that
Exactly, don't believe.
we don't believe you because people keep leaving and they keep telling us to do this and we do this and then they leave and then, oh no, we have to do this over here and then we leave and then we're exhausted. We want this college to succeed. We want to teach our students. And this is a fundamental morale problem that has come from a board of trustees that has done a lot of bad hiring for a decade. And unfortunately, you are coming in at the tail end of that with us being absolutely exhausted, frustrated, mistrustful. And I mean, that's how I feel. That's how almost everyone in my division, this is what I hear over and over and over in a lot of different spaces.
So we are gonna have a decision about what to do with that, what else needs to happen in terms of sort of processing, but also being able to look at the numbers and make choices together to build.
Yeah,
plan.
and social science, we have large yes, we are not part of the problem.
All right,
And so that's the other.
all right. Thanks, you guys. Do we have a motion to adjourn?
Yes.
What?
Yes, I moved.
Okay, so
Second.
Elizabeth and Cornelia. All right, here we go. Thank you, guys. 5:03. The
Sorry,
F on the
Chrissy.
top and the S. All right.
The numerator.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Have a great break. I won't see you for
S by FT.
Oh my God.
Oh, check.